How far would you go for the one you love? What would you do for the person or the family member or the individual in your life whom you love? The following story you're going to listen to is about a father who went beyond and above to demonstrate his love. It's a story about sacrifice. It's a story about courage. Most certainly, it's a story about love. Let's take a listen.
Anne Arundel County father is being remembered as a loving man. Just days ago, a man was beaten to death in front of his own home. His family tells us it was retaliation for an incident that happened at one of his son's schools. WJZ live in Brooklyn Park right now. That's where this happened. Dennis Valera spoke with the victim's fiance. Dennis?
Denise, she says they've been together for the last 15 years, engaged for the last 8. She says that the world really lost the light when Chris Wright died. Now, police are still looking for the suspects in this. They're described as 3 to 4 men, all in their 20s to 30s.
Tracy Karapczynski and Chris Wright started off as co-workers, but their relationship soon turned into something more after he asked her a question.
The next Friday asked, can we have a beer together after work? And I was like, well, if it's Friday, I guess. If I'm drinking a beer and you're drinking a beer, we'll have a beer together. And we've been together ever since.
They grew a family together and always talked about getting married.
And Chris wanted a big, beautiful church wedding with everybody there. And I was the type of person like, well, we've never been to Vegas. I thought we had time.
Their time cut short this past Friday. Police say officers found him severely beaten at Tracy and Chris's home around 5 p.m. He died at the hospital a day later. Tracy says it stemmed from a fight from her son's school, Brooklyn Park Middle School. The school district confirmed this happened, helping with the police investigation. Tevin Wright is the youngest. He says his dad really took care of them.
She would usually be at work, and he would be the one person to take care of us every week. Every weekday, I would get home and I would see him, which would make me smile.
A lasting legacy of Chris, these flowers. Tracy says he had quite the green thumb, but an even bigger one, his heart.
He was a friend to everybody. I mean, just the outpour that we've been getting from friends, and just they're really, really going to miss out on somebody with a really big heart. He loved beyond.
There are plans to have a vigil for Chris Wright later this week, but the details are still being finalized. Again, the suspects, they're described as 3 to 4 men, all in their 20s to 30s. If you know anything about this, please give police a call immediately. Reporting live in Brooklyn Park, I'm Dennis Valera for WJZ.
You know, friends, this is a sad story indeed. And it's definitely one of those that that captivated my mind as soon as I saw that. And I was like, you know what? Not too many fathers will do something like that, especially in a society where men are vilified and men are made to feel it's all negative to be men. But here comes a man who did not think about himself. He was willing to put his life on the line for the son that he loved so much, to protect his home and his family. And I want to remind you, that's what it's like to be man. That's what it's like to be a man who's been positioned in a position to protect, to care, to look after his family. And, you know, friends, we need men like that in this world today. And that's what the world is lacking, man. We want more good men to do something in the face of evil, even when it costs them their lives. This is a family who's going to need a lot of love and support, financial help as well. I'm going to look for a GoFundMe account and put that in the description below. Go check it out. Go show some love. And I'm asking the question again, how far would you go for the one you love? You know, the Bible tells us in John 3:16 that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's what love looks like. In Romans chapter 5, the Bible tells us that God commended his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. He He was willing to lay down his life to save us, even though we did not deserve his love. How far would you go for the one you love? Well, Jesus demonstrated that on the cross. He was willing to say, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. He was willing to lay down his life as a sacrifice for the race. So how far would you go for the one you love? Is the question that I'm asking today to every man. I should say to every woman as well. How far would you go for the one you love?